Hey guys, it's Courtney, and today's video is the April guest on my channel, and April's guest is Marla from Mad About Cards and Crafts. And as you can see from the pictures on the screen, she is very, very talented. And as always, I will leave all of the supplies that she used in today's video in the description box below, as well as links to her YouTube channel and all of her social media accounts. So I encourage you to check her out. Hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day. Bye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I am happy to be a guest designer on Courtney Krieber's YouTube channel, so thank you Courtney for having me. I'll be sharing faux watercoloring using penny black brushstroke stamps. The distress ink I'm using is picked raspberry ripe persimmon worn lipstick. I'm using two Pink Fresh Studio inks, Persimmon and Raspberry Bliss, Nina 110-pound cardstock bases, and two panels cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm using the She Builder and the Exhileration stamp sets from Penny Black, along with some Fun Foam and Wow embossing powder. This particular technique, I will start with the worn lipstick, and then I will come in and lightly stamp the edges of that butterfly with ripe persimmon. And it is best to get the best impression with this to use your Misty stamping tool. Because they are cling stamps, it just obviously is easier to line up, and so I'm going to interchange these colors. I will start with a solid stamping, in this case ripe persimmon, and then I came in with picked raspberry around the edges, and I try not to use the edge of the ink pad, but go more towards the middle when I'm stamping on those edges of the butterfly, because I won't get a harsh edge. And I chose to use distress ink because it's water-based, and so it will lend itself well if I need to do any blending of the colors with water, which you will see that I do. So I took the smallest element and wanted to show how you can get multi-cards out of one particular stamp. In this case, this came with a beautiful floral and it came with the butterfly, and instead of using the floral on this card, I am simply going to use the butterfly to create a beautiful background for my sentiment. Now you'll notice when I am stamping that I'm leaving some white space, especially in the middle. And the reason for that is the sentiment stamp that I'm using, I want to use the same ink colors, but I'm going to be using, or similar ink colors I should say, but I'm going to be using the Pink Fresh Studio inks. And the reason that I chose to do that is I wanted to make it kind of monochromatic, but I needed the white space because if I tried to stamp over those butterflies, which are solid and vibrant, you would not be able to see the sentiment. So I have some of the ruler tools that help keep your sentiments straight when stamping, and I will be using those with this particular sentiment set. And I will line up the bottom one, and you'll see that I forgot to put the piece of foam back in. So when you're stamping with cling stamps, you don't want the foam in your Misty. You need to take that out. But when you're stamping with clear stamps, you certainly need to have that foam in, and I forgot to put it in. I was fortunate enough to be able to do some really good compression stamping and get an impression that was solid, and so I was very happy I was able to save it. Now I'm going to come in with that She, and I am going to do some ombre or two-tone stamping actually. So I'll start with that persimmon ink, and then I will do the Raspberry Bliss on the bottom, and I'll stamp it twice so that I get a better impression. I think that that corner is a little bare, so I'm going to add another butterfly. I did stamp the bottom portion of the sentiment with the Raspberry Bliss to add a little bit of interest. And you see that I got a little overstamping, and I'll be able to fix that, and I'll show you how to fix that little boo-boo. I tried coming in with my Tombow Mono sand eraser, and that didn't work. I have this splat box that I use, and I'm using a silver brush paintbrush, the black velvet, and it's a number 8 brush, and I just put a little bit of the inks onto the other side of my Misty mat, or actually no, that's my glass mat from Tim Holtz, and then I put a lot of water on my brush, mix it up, and do some splattering. So I just put the brush over my piece of artwork and I tap onto that. Here's where I am adding a little bit of water, and where that water based ink comes into play, I'm able to brush and smooth that first butterfly out that didn't quite have the impression that I wanted it to have. Excuse me. And then I took my Sakura white gel pen and I just ran it over that overstamping, and that fixed the boo-boo. I used some fun foam to back my panel. It's cut just a little bit smaller than 4 by 5 1/4, and I am going to glue it to my card base. And that is the first card. Now my second card, I'm going to be doing some stamping with daubers, and that this is some selective stamping. So I'm going to take some peeled paint, which is the first color that I'm using here, and I'm working in small sections at a time. I'm putting on some worn lipstick onto the florals, and my worn lipstick is getting a little bit dry, and so I have to stamp it a couple of times to get a good impression. That has nothing to do with the stamp. It's simply just my ink pad is starting to get a little bit dry, and so I'm going to continue with the same process. I'll put the worn lipstick down on the flowers, and I will put the peeled paint down on the greenery, and if I get any over daubing, then I just use my finger to remove it. And this is just such an easy process to get a beautiful watercolored look without actually having to watercolor. And again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the very first stamp, the butterfly. I'm going to use the same 3 colors, and I'm going to do some selective stamping to get multiple colors on one image. I'm coming in here with the leaves and adding some depth to the bottom with Mowed Lawn, and that's just a little bit darker green, and then I'll do some other spots. My panel does move. It shifts a little bit here, and I have to readjust it, and I get a little bit of off stamping, but it lends itself well to the watercolor look. Now I'm coming in with that ripe persimmon. I'm just randomly putting it onto the florals, and then I'll finish up with this picked raspberry. And I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment, so I will be able to go over the stamped image with part of the She in that She Builder set, and that is because I am heat embossing, it will show up over that stamped image. Now I'm taking my brush and I'm blending the colors. This is where, you know, you're able to get rid of what looks like a stamped image and make it look more like it was watercolored. And so I'm blending all of those colors together. I have a very little bit of water on that paintbrush. That's a number 4. And I am wiping it off each time that I put it into the water onto that microfiber cloth. Now the back panel of my Misty is laminated, so I'm able to use it to help with the watercolor process. I wanted to fill in some of those lines, and so I stamped a little bit of ink, and then I took my water brush to it to smooth some of that out. And here's where I come in with the heat embossing. This She Builder stamp set is amazing, and if I would recommend to you that you check out this particular sentiment stamp. It's a super stamp for encouragement of women. It says, she tackles, she conquers, she believes she could, so she did, she just shines, she is more precious than jewels, she is clothed in strength and dignity. And I just think that those are fabulous sentiments. All of the products that I've used are listed in the description box below, and I do have affiliate links, so to help support my channel, if you click on those and purchase, I do get a little bit of a commission from that. And I just want to take a moment to talk about Courtney. Courtney has been a mentor to especially the small YouTube channel community, those of us that are just starting out, that don't know the ins and outs of starting a channel, or in the beginning stages of a channel. And I just want to thank her personally for doing all that she has done for this particular area of the community. She answers questions, she does videos on top of what she is providing you with the content. So thank you, Courtney, for that, and for allowing me to be a guest designer on your channel. Also, if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. There is a link in the box below to my channel. So if you would like to subscribe, I would love to have you come over and get to know you through this process. So I heated up my Wagner heat tool and I let it run for about 30 seconds or so, and then I came in and did the heat embossing on this. And now I'm just going to put the foam on the back of that panel. I do like dimensional cards. I like layering paper. I like putting foam adhesive on the back and using fun foam. I don't know, I just love the look of those cards, and so you'll see that I do this quite often. And this is really a beautiful, clean and simple card that I think anybody would love to receive. I'm going to show you a couple photographs, close-up photographs. I did make 4 cards, so these are the photographs are of the first 2 cards that I created, but basically I did the same process. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that you will come over to my channel. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to watch this guest design spot. One of the problems that I have is lining up. I don't know about you, but it's lining up those panels because I don't want to put my head in the video. Let me know in the description box below, is that something that you struggle with lining these things up, or is it just me? All right, here are the final looks of my card. Again, thank you, Courtney, so much for having me. I hope that everyone has a fantastic week and enjoys this little video on how to faux watercolor and also stretch your stamps. Bye-bye.